Live images coming in of Prime Minister Modi in Qatar. Modi meets the Qatar Emir just days after the release of jailed Indian Navy veterans. Prime Minister Modi lands in Qatar. This is right after his big Abu Dhabi visit where he inaugurated the Baps Mandir, the Hindu temple in Abu Dhabi. He has now made his way to Qatar, and as soon as he arrives in Qatar's Doha, he already has held talks with his counterpart Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rehman. In fact, the meeting here is to explore avenues for strengthening relationship between New Delhi and Doha. Prime Minister Modi to be meeting the Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. Prime Minister holding bilateral meet with the Emir of Qatar. These are visuals of him just before that meeting. Now, Prime Minister had already posted on his X platform saying that he had a wonderful meeting with the Prime Minister, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. He says it was a lovely meeting. Our discussions revolved around ways to boost India-Qatar friendship. The scheduled meeting comes just days after 8 former Indian Navy veterans who were sentenced to death in Qatar on espionage charges were released. The Ministry of External Affairs had intervened as per many of those veterans themselves, Navy veterans claiming that they had extensive help that came in from the Ministry of External Affairs from India, saying that Modi ensured their release. We have Geeta Mohan, our Foreign Affairs correspondent, editor, joining us on the phone line. Geeta, take us through these images. Prime Minister Modi in Qatar. He's right now, he's all set to be meeting of the Emir of Qatar. How significant is it in terms of diplomatic ties? And what are the relations that India and Qatar have held? What kind of relations have the two countries held in the years till today?
Well, it's a very important relationship, Nabila. Comes at a time when Qatar is playing a very important role in the conflict resolution, so to say, and mediations in the region, especially when it comes to the Israel-Hamas war. India is a stakeholder in peace in the region and beyond, and that's the reason why we are looking at a very important conversation between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Emir of Qatar. Just ahead of this, last evening, he also met the Prime Minister of Qatar, and the conversations revolved around enhancing bilateral relationship and strategic cooperation between the two countries. So quite an important meeting, and also now, Nabila, comes after the release of the 8 Indian ex-naval officers, 7 of whom have returned to India, and the meeting between the Emir of Qatar and Prime Minister Modi also took place in Dubai on the sidelines of COP28,
right.
And after which we saw the commutation of the death sentence and now release. So major thank you message also will be going from the Indian Premier to the Emir.
Right, right. Geeta, thanks very much for joining us.